Hi everyone and welcome back to Mr. V's Models. This is going to be part 8 in my 172 Tamiya Tornado F3 build for the hashtag twin group build. In this part we're going to cover multiple things. We're going to start the weathering, so I'm going to apply a clay wash and then tail it off afterwards, and then I'm going to start working with some oils and probably a satin coating between the two of those, and start bringing it together. So this is all going to be about weathering. So this is going to be filmed a bit on and off, so I'll film a bit, do a bit off camera, come back, film a bit, and just forth, a bit like with the decaling. So first thing I'm going to do is get the camera pointing back down at the bench. I'm going to try and use the two cameras again, so one sort of from that angle and one from the top view, and we will get cracking with the application of the clay wash. So guys, weathering. There's so many different types of ways of weathering, and it is a multiple step process really. For myself, I almost always exclusively start with a clay wash, and for clay washes I hardly ever use anything else but this stuff here. So just let me bring you in, there we go. Right, I'll just get. So this here is Floyd Models Dark Dirt Wash. He does a whole range and I've got most of them, but this is probably my go-to, the Dark Dirt. I just think it's a great colour for most aircraft. So easy to use and gives great results straight out of the bottle. So the first thing I do with the Dark Dirt Wash is I always give it a really good shake, and then I always decant it. So that's what we're going to start with. So we'll give it a good shake, and it's really easy to use. The main reason it's so easy to use is because it's water based, it's easy to apply, and it's really easy to take off afterwards. All you need is a bit of a kitchen roll, and you can just damp it down a little bit. So once I've given that a good shake, you always end up a bit foamy at the top, but it is what it is. It'll be good today. You don't need too much of the stuff, just a mil or two should do the trick. It goes quite a long way. There we go, that's that. Right. Get the cap back on it before we'll knock it over, and we'll just leave that over in the corner there. So I don't know whether you can see that on camera, how well you can see that, but it's a lovely looking colour. Just get it to focus. Okay, right. There we go. Right. It's a great looking colour. It's nice and dark, and it works really well. It's so easy. Always use the same brush from application with clay washes. So 1x Tornado. You can apply this over a gloss coat or satin coat, whichever one you want. If you put it over a satin coat, it tends to stick a little bit more than over a gloss coat, but they both give good results. You could even apply it over a matte coat, but it'd be harder to get off. And then all it is literally just brushing it on. It's very simply, as you can see from the above camera, all you need to do is just get it all brushed on. And the thing I like with the Floyd wash over other washes that I've tried before of the clay variety, I find there's much less surface tension in it. I don't know what's in there to beat the surface tension, but it just seems to go on nice and even, goes down lovely, and basically will give a great result. So what we're going to do is we're going to cover the aircraft entirely with this, and as you can see, it's not going to take me a long process. There's a couple of bits here which need detail painting with some black paint, but I'll just come back and do those off camera anyway once the wash is off. It doesn't really matter because it's black, it's not going to show the dirt too much anyway. So we're getting it on all the surfaces, as you can see here. It doesn't really matter which way you apply it, it's just going to go in. And the thing is that it's going to flow into the recessed panel lines and the nooks and crannies, and that's where we want it. We want it down there, so it gives the dirt, the dirty effect to the aircraft. Coming along quite nicely, as you can see. There we go. There we go. And as you can see, the little kind of goes quite a long way really. You get really good coverage of this stuff, really good. Going to try and avoid the wheel wells a little bit, because what I'll do there is I'll come with an oil wash, nice and thin, and I'll just pop it into where I want it to go in the wheel well, so it brings out the detail there. Because the problem with the clay wash is it goes into the wheel wells. It's a little bit tricky just to get out. I'm not going to say it's impossible to do, but just I find it a little bit harder to get out from other places because it's so deep down. And if a bit of it goes in, it's not really a drama. But yeah, I'll come back and do a little quick pin wash or the wheel wells afterwards. There we go, coming along nicely. I think we've just judged the right quantity on this as well. Now, as I say, it's horses for courses. Other people like other forms of clay washes. Some people make their own using sort of a dry pigment that they then knock up their own sludge wash, if that makes sense, from like a pastel. What I'd say is whatever works for you. I personally find these ready-made clay washes just the easiest form around to use. So the only thing I want to try and do is avoid massive amount of pooling in one particular place over another. There we go, coming along nicely. Right, excellent. So there you can see. It all looks quite horrible right now because it's all gone very, very dirty, and that's the whole point of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to allow this to dry off camera. About 40 minutes is a minimum, but you know, if you left it all night, it'll still come off quite easily in the morning. So we're going to leave this to dry, and what we will do is we will come back once it's dried and take it off. I'm now going to apply the sludge wash to pretty much every other part of the aircraft, so the weapon systems, the gears, landing gear, and all the pylons and stuff. So we'll do that off camera, and then we'll come back once she's all done, and we will get it all cleaned up for you. So there we are, just giving a good little view of how that's gone down. I'd say really quick, and now we just need to leave it to dry. So guys, I've left the wash to dry all overnight to really let it bed in, and what we now need to do is come back and bring it off. So just so you can see the bird, there she is. Just let me get focused on that. Nice and dirty, as you can see, apart from on the you know, the carriage bays, but certainly looks overly dirty with the wash on as it is. So what we need to do is we need to get the wash off. So that's what I'm going to show you how I do that today using. It's really simple. Just some kitchen towel which you damp down and just rub off the wash in the direction of the airflow. So what I'll do is I'll get the camera moved back round to where it's pointed at the bench. I'll set up the one above it as well, and we'll get filming taking the wash off, guys. So here we go. We've got the Tonka all nice and dirty, as I said, and what we need to do is now get the wash off. And this is really simple, really, with these clay washes. What you need to do, a little bit of paper towel here, give that a lick, or dampen it down. I just prefer licking it, to be honest. And then all we need to do is wipe in the direction of the airflow. And as you can see, it's starting to come off really, really easily. You know, there we go. And it leaves a lovely recessed panel line wash. So easy to use this stuff, and gives some great effects, really. So what we're going to do is go around all the model, and we'll get the wash off. There's some places where it's going to be a bit more persistent, and that's fine, we can come back in with some cotton buds to get those bits off if needed be. But there we go, starting to come along nicely, and this will certainly bring the aircraft to life. Make sure that we've got all that recessed detail popping out, which is what we want. And also the advantage of these sort of sludge clay washes is that it does sort of give a bit more tonal variation to the paint, and therefore in my eyes a little bit more realism. And yeah, when I found out about these washes, it was an absolute revelation to me, because it's something that I struggled with. I used to use Humbrol enamel washes, and I never really got a good result, and since I've chucked those in the bin because they just don't last. The wash has gone all kind of sludgy and all grimy at the bottom of the bottle, and it's just a nightmare to use. So this is my preferred method of putting a wash down. As I say, these clay based washes. There we go, come along nicely now. Wonderful. Come down the side. I'd say it needs to be in the direction of the airflow. To me, it doesn't really matter whether it's... The main thing is to go at 90 degrees to the panel line, and if you're going at 90 degrees to the panel line, you're going to leave the wash in the panel line. If you put it on a satin coat, then it's got a bit more bite, stays in the... sort of stains it a little bit more. This aircraft here, I don't want it to be overly battered, so for me a gloss coat underneath made sense. But as I say, it's one of those things where you can kind of vary what you put in the wash down on top of, depending on the results you want to get. I know some people airbrush this on, and there's loads of different ways you could use it. So yeah, all in all, really easy, really effective, and really quite nice. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do kind of the bulk of this on camera now, just quickly, of the top side, and then what I'll do is I'll take the wash off the whole of the aircraft in my own time, and come back and show you how it's looking afterwards. Just because it's a quick process, thankfully, it doesn't take long, but you know, I don't know whether you really want to hear me waffle for 10 minutes whilst I get the wash off all the aircraft, but you know, it's certainly... Another thing with this wash, it's so forgiving, because if you don't like it, well, just get the bird underneath the tap with a gentle brush and give it a rub, and all of that wash will come off for sure. So if you do make a massive boo-boo, it's not the biggest problem in the whole wide world, it's relatively easy to fix. Right, so let me just bring you in a little bit closer. There we go. Right, so you can see it's looking quite nice. Let's say what I'm going to do is I'll just show it up onto the top camera a bit. There we go. You can see it's nicely stuck in between the recessed panel lines on the top side there. What I'm going to do now is just crack on with it off camera, get all the wash off and sort of rework a little bits here and there, and then I'll come back and show you where we've got to, guys. So guys, little sit rep on where we've got to. I've removed all the wash, as you can see. She's looking very much apart now, as far as I'm concerned. I'm quite happy the way she's looking. It's brought out all that raised details quite nicely. So we're pretty happy with that. I've done a bit of detail painting which needed doing as well. I've just freehanded that, so it's not the best, but it's there. Just bringing you to the overhead camera, I'm just going to do a quick barrel roll so you can see the aircraft. There we go. So looking nice and dirty, looking like it's had a bit of wear and tear on it, and breaking up that uniform of the paint, uniform colour of the paint. So that with the black basing underneath means we've got quite a bit of variation in the paintwork. So we're quite happy with that. I've also done some work on the weaponry here. Let's just bring those up above here. So just making sure, there we go. There we go, that's a bit better there, you can see them there. Right, so we've got a nice bit of work on there as well. They're not 100% accurate representations, but they're certainly close enough and look better than just some grey blobs. So I'm quite happy with the sign winders and the sky flash. We've also done a bit of work here on the fuel tanks, and we'll just bring that up above as well. So they've had a bit of a wash and gets a bit more tonal variation. There we go, so that's looking rather good. So yeah, so next thing that we need to do is get a satin coat onto it. I like the satin coat because when I can come in with the oils and do a bit of streaking, this, that and the other, it just bites a little bit more. So the places where I'm going to be streaking mainly are going to be sort of this area here, just where the wing sweeps in. So I need to kind of get that representation of the wings being moving in and out and get that dirty. And then I'll do some where the flaps and slats are, and probably a bit underneath where the engines are, a bit of dirt down there, and that should certainly bring it together. Once that's done, I need to get a bit of a smoke effect here on the tail, and we need to get that sort of effect from where the thrust reversers are. So I'll just add that, brush that on lightly with some Tamiya smoke. And probably just maybe add a little bit of brown into the mix just to make it a bit dirtier. So that's the plan with that. So as I say, next thing that we're going to do is get the satin coat on, and I'll come back to you once she's had the satin coat done. So guys, pushing on, we have put a satin coat on this off camera. Which I think has come out quite nice. I'm just going to try and bring up to the top camera here so you can see. There we go. So there's still a bit of shine to it, but it's a lot more muted than with just a gloss coat, and it's brought out those colours quite nicely now, so I'm quite happy with the way it's looking. Looking nice and weathered and battered with the wash on as well. Also off camera I've played around a little bit because I've been trying, I wanted to try and replicate the FOD covers. Now for this I've used some green stuff epoxy putty, which is this stuff here. Just bring it up to the camera, there you go. It's 2-part epoxy putty, just mixed it together, and then what I've done, I've rolled it out into a thin sort of layer and conformed it around the air intakes. It's not perfect, but I think it's going to be as close as I'm going to get. However, the colour's not right here. It's more of an olive drab green, so I need to paint these up at some point, which we'll do shortly. And I've also done some covers for the engines here, so if I just bring these up to the top camera as well. There we go. But it's looking the part. I mean, if I pop these in here, just to sort of have a look how they're looking. Ooh. Okay, so I'm going to have to do a bit of work on these to get these in. That's a good thing to note. It's a bit annoying. I'm going to have to get a sanding stick in there or something and just rub it around to be able to get these in, which I'll do off camera anyway. Anyway, satin coat, yeah. So I was talking about this had a satin coat off camera, and for that I used some Tamiya X35A. I'll just bring you in a little bit, there you go, and just zoom in, there we go. Some X35A, which I thinned down with some X20A, about 40, 60, 50, 50-ish mix, airbrushed on from a bit of distance, and that's give quite a nice effect, I think. So there we go. Right. So what I now want to do is just work a little bit of some oils, and to do oil work, I've got this here which I purchased a little while ago. This is Abteilung, not Abteilung or whatever you want to pronounce it, 502 oils, and it's an aircraft effect set. So in here I've got 6 oils. And what I want to try and do is replicate a bit sort of like the streaking on the wing glove. Well, it's not the wing gloves. where the wing sweeps into the fuselage, just to give that sort of a bit of a dirty effect there. And I'll also sort of look at maybe doing a bit of streaking just maybe underneath here. I've noticed sometimes there's a bit of streaking there, and maybe a little bit of a smoke effect just around the back where the missile launchers would be. I'll have a think about that. I need to look at some references. But that is the plan for today, to get a bit of oils on here and to take it from there. So what I'm going to do is pop the cameras off whilst I do this, because this is going to be a bit experimental. So once I've sort of found the best way of working the oils, then I'll come back and sort of show you how I'm doing with it. So guys, I'm just doing a bit of research on how to get these oils on and how I want them to look, and I've been looking at this fantastic book here from Andy Evans, which is the Comprehensive Guide to Tamiya Tornado. And if you like the Tonka and you haven't got this book, go get it. It's got some fantastic photos in here of all variants of the Tornado from every single country that employed it. Anyway, so I'm sort of having a look here on the ADV weathering. I'll just pop this one out the side here for a second. Now, don't know if you can see this up on top camera. It seems here we've got a little bit of weathering which comes around that port side there, where there's an air intake which actually I need to glue on. I need to remember to do that. And also looking here, we can see there's some streaking, just some smoke effects around where the gun port is. So I'm going to try and replicate that. And then on this photo here, which is actually from 29 Squadron, so that's quite good. We've got some sort of streaking going on just around the base here, and some light weathering up at the top, some light smoke here going up on the top of the fin from the thrust reverser. But one thing that's quite interesting to note is that the amount of smoke going up onto the thrust reverser is totally variable on aircraft to aircraft, so I don't think you can get it right or wrong. I mean, this photo here shows two aircraft and two total different amounts of smoky effect upon the vertical stabiliser of the tail fin there. So it's interesting to note. Also, the interesting thing here to note is that on the thrust reversers here, the buckets, they look a lot lighter than the actual jet exhaust. So I'm going to come back and repaint that with a little bit of a lighter shade of metal. So that's an interesting thing to note. So yeah, it's giving me some ideas about what I'm going to be doing. And then when you look down here, this is a quartet of F3s going on a cap duty, and they're all really clean, so they must have just got to theatre or something. So yeah, this book, highly recommended, and going to give us plenty of advice for this weathering. So I think I'm going to try and get some light little streaking going here, a little bit around the bases here as well, and a little bit of streak here. So what I'm going to do is use a little bit of a mixture of oils. I'm definitely going to be using some of this smoke for around the gun. That's for sure. And then I've got this yellow here, faded yellow, and maybe a bit of cream brown, and I might put a bit of this, there you go, faded dark yellow, that's the one I wanted. So there's faded dark yellow and cream brown, and try and mix a bit of a custom oily sort of colour from it. So that's that. So what we need now is a little bit of cardboard. Here's one we made earlier. I'm just going to quickly, actually Daisy, I'm going to get a different piece of cardboard, bear with me. So this is kind of how I normally work oils. I just put a dab on, let the oil soak into the cardboard a bit, but as you can see this one's quite battered now, so that one's going to go in the bin. I'm just going to get another piece of cardboard to work on it. These are brand spanking new, these. I've not yet opened them, so this is a first. So let's just get you focused in nicely here, see how we're doing. That's grand. There we go. Okay, so I was expecting to have a little seal to pierce, but obviously not. And with oils, a little goes a long way. That's one thing that I've learned about them. So that's a lovely smoke colour, and that off the bat looks like a lovely, lovely, lovely colour. Let's just make sure that's on nice and tight. There we go. This is the faded dark yellow. There we go. Which actually looks a lot brighter there than it does on the tube. and then we'll get a bit of cream brown. There we go, wonderful. Now, there are various different ways of using oils, and I'm not the world's leading light on oil, far from it. But basically, for this, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to apply some dabs on it, and then come back in with a brush which has been moistened in thinners, and sort of a softish brush we want. Yeah, we'll go for that one, I think. And try and drag them back a little bit. That's the point anyway. So let's have a little bit of a play up at the top here around the gun port. So all we're doing is literally just going to put a little dab here, there we go. There we go. And we're going to come in with some, I use terps, distilled terps, and what I'll do with that is I will grab a little bit of it and pop it into a cap here. There we go. And the last thing that we're going to need is a kitchen roll, because all you want is the brush that you're going to use to streak with to be moistened. It doesn't need to be wet, it just needs to be moistened. So all I'm doing is dabbing in there, and then I'm knocking a lot of that off on the paper towel here. And then what I'm just going to do is literally just, okay, so that's not working as well as I hoped there. So what I'm going to do is get a smallish brush. Which one? There you go. A smallish brush. This is a round brush. This is a number 2, so nothing special. Same again, just moisten it. And then what I'm doing is I'm just literally going to start removing as much of this as I can. This is kind of the beauty of oils. You have quite a lot of control about how you apply them. You've got such a long working time with them. Now I know that you're not going to be able to see much on the camera there, so just let me bring the camera in. There we go. So all I'm doing literally is just dragging this back. Hey mate.
Hello,
What? What are you doing? And that there was the lovely other half just getting back from her day out. Sorry for the interruption. So yeah. So I don't know whether you can see that well there, but we've got some sort of streaking going on. I'm going to rework this off camera, and what I'll do is I will come back and show you how we've sort of got on with it. So guys, been working a little bit with these oils, and I must say that they're absolutely lovely to use and very easy to use. So what I've done here, I'm going to bring you right in tight. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. Right, and just check the focus. There we go. So what I've done is I've used the smoke here to represent the thrust reverse of smoke caused on the tail fin. So both sides are like that. There we go. And then I've done a little bit of streaking underneath it. Just bring you in there, right, and just check the focus again. There we go. So it's quite subtle on the camera thing, but just a little bit of streaking around this part here. You can just see where the tweezer is, and a little bit just there and there. And also I've done a bit of work around where the wing roots are, and I've also done a little bit of work just here. Just let's check the focus again. Just on where the gun barrel muzzle is, and just a light bit of streaking there, just to dirty it up a bit. So if I bring it to the top camera and do sort of a light little barrel roll here, there you can see hopefully everything there. So oils take a little while to go off, so I'm just going to let them dry off naturally, and that's pretty much going to be it for the weathering on this aircraft. It's dirty enough as it is, but it's dirty enough that I like it dirty. So what I'm going to do now is just do the detail painting which needs doing. Let me just back you back out, there you go, so just so you get the overview. Right, so I'm just going to paint up the air intake FOD covers, oopsie daisy, there we go, and I'm also going to paint the FOD covers on the engines here, get that done off camera. Also what I'm going to do is get it up on its legs, get the undercarriage on, and then we're pretty much there for the final reveal almost. So what I'm going to do is spin the cameras back round, saying my goodbyes to this set of video, and this is going to be the last video that I'm going to do before the final reveal. So let me move some cameras. So guys, that's going to be the end of part 8 of the 172 Tamiya Tornado build. We're very nearly there now. You've seen a bit of my weathering steps on it. I'm not going over the top with it, because I find in 70 seconds sometimes you can just weather them a little bit too much. But she looks certainly that she's got a bit of wear and tear and a bit of use in her, which is the desired effect. So next time that I come back is going to be the final reveal. I'm going to do the last few bits and bobs off camera, which will basically get the weapon stores onto it, getting her on the legs, on the undercarriage, and getting those all set up together, and then just taking the canopy mask off. I'm going to let the oils dry naturally. I'm not going to overcoat them with a satin coat at the minute because they take quite a while to dry, so it might be that in the future I'll just come back and just respray those bits with a bit of a satin coat. We'll see how it turns out. But yeah, I think we're all pretty much ready for final reveal well a few days before the end of the group build, so that's good news. So all I've got left to say now is thank you very much for following the build. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. For those who subscribe and share the channel, it's really appreciated. I hope you enjoyed the video I put out the other day, which was my little stash tour. I enjoyed making it, and I think they're just good fun videos to do and to watch. So yeah, if you haven't seen that, go and check it out. You'll see what's in my stash that way. And with that, I've only got to say thank you very much, guys. Take care, happy modelling, and we'll see you soon. Bye.